Greetings friends. There's a bit of a wind getting up today, so I'm hoping that the audio will come out on this little video. And I just wanted to jump on and give you a little bit of an antidote, a little oasis from the river here, beside the river in Bakewell. Just taking Kobe for a walk, just to give you a little bit of a break from the shit show nightmare horror show of what's unfolding. I mean, Jesus, they are so piling it on thick now. What with the whole Israel-Gaza thing, and now Acapulco completely destroyed. And when I saw the footage of Acapulco and the reports, and it hadn't actually been widely reported that a tropical rainstorm suddenly turns into a Category 5 hurricane, destroys the whole of Acapulco, and then goes away. It's kind of unheard of, absolutely no warning. And one has to question. I mean, I question everything. I think we all have to question everything, because if you are the powers that shouldn't be, and you have an agenda which is all about climate change, and you have got some newfangled technology, directed energy weapons, which have all sorts of applications, it's quite handy, isn't it, to start using these directed energy weapons and blame it on nature and climate change, and you know, we've got to save the planet. Look at all these natural catastrophes. Well, what I'm saying is, what if they aren't natural catastrophes? I'm going to turn around because the wind's blowing. Yeah, so what if you did have a directed energy weapon? Well, we know that they do have them that could create wildfires on demand. Well, that's what happened in Maui. And now suddenly this hurricane without any rain, which suddenly blows out every window in Acapulco and destroys an entire city, almost as if it's been completely targeted. Coincidental, isn't it, that that's where Max Egan is based, and that's where the Acapulco conference happened. I think it was last year. I mean, the devastation is just off the scale. So there's a huge amount which is pulling our attention at the moment, and of course the Wetiko, the false matrix, it needs to be fed, it needs energy, it needs the focus of energy, it needs fear and horror and outrage and anger. Those are the lower vibrations that keep the false matrix in place, because by essence it's a heavy vibration, it's a lower, denser energy field which is formed out of chaos and dissonance. So the minute that you start putting a higher vibration into there, and you start creating resonance, harmonic resonance, through laughter and joy and singing and sound and chanting and prayer and meditation, that's what collapses. That's what collapses the false matrix. And of course, to create maximum dissonance and chaos and illness, you know, feed the people toxic, or give the people toxic air, toxic things to drink, lots of sugar, lots of processed food, so that they are not eating the highest vibration, nutritional, delicious, high energy food. And you'll know this if you've ever been on a retreat. I mean, I try to eat quite healthily, but my goodness, I could never compete with the kind of high vibrational food that you get when you go on a retreat. Kobe's sniffing over there, so I'm just waiting for him. Oh, just the most amazing food, which you can just feel your energy soaring when you are on one of those retreats, if you know what I mean, or a juice cleanse. I did a juice cleanse in Spain a couple of years ago. Oh my God. And we were taking all sorts of supplements and things like chlorella, and oh my goodness, my energy by the end of it was through the roof. I'd lost loads of weight. I was just zinging. I was just like so happy. It was just like, wow. But of course, this lower density vibration of the false matrix, it's kind of like, it's so dissonant, it's so harsh, it's kind of like, it's easy to see why so many people reach for the sugar or the caffeine or the booze and the junk food, you know, just to kind of self-soothe. Right, we're going to have to cross the road, so I'm going to pause this. Hold on. So yeah, so that's why it's so important to kind of build into your day as many high vibrational things as you can to really look after yourself and to keep your energy clean and clear and high. So a big thing for me every morning is mantras, chanting for 40 minutes, playing my drum and rattling. It's amazing to clear the energy field, even if I'm in a really difficult place. Hiya, hi. Another thing which I am now doing every morning is having a fancy choc. So a raw cacao, ceremonial raw cacao with coconut cream and coconut milk and date syrup. So you basically heat that in a pan, put it through a Vitamix or a blender because it's quite grainy for 20 seconds. So after you've heated it up, and it just makes for the most brilliant high vibration drink, which is really heart opening to have a cup of fancy choc. I call it that because that's what it was called in Spain. I had one every morning, and it was kind of like, it was like my beautiful little piece of plant medicine every morning. Which, oh, hold on, Kobe's doing a poo. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Third take, and I just dropped the phone with balancing with a poo bag in my hand. So I'm like multitasking here. Come on, Kobe, this way. Come on, let's go this way. So, actually, let me take this. I've got some fingerless gloves on, but it's not helping with my camera grip skills. So let's get our act together. Let's get our act together. So yes, I'm here in Bakewell. So we're now, yeah, it's November. I was going to say it's late October, but yeah, 1st of November, the day after Samhain, and all the tourists, well, there are actually quite a few half-term tourists here, to be fair, but it's definitely not as busy as it used to be. It's actually quite nice to have the town back a little bit, because the summer is just crazy, packed with tourists in Bakewell. So after this half term, it's going to really drop off. Anyway, so what was I talking about? So we're talking about directed energy weapons, we're talking about Wetiko, we're talking about the way that this false matrix needs to be fed. I mean, it's actually, the illusion is fabricated through fear, and so it needs our attention on it. It needs us to be focusing in on it, and it needs us to be lowered in vibration. It needs us to be frightened and outraged and angry, because those are the energies which feed the false matrix and which keep it locked in place. And that's why it's so important for us, firstly, as I said, to have daily practices to keep your vibration as high as you possibly can. And from that place, when you do go into the false matrix, because all of us are at some level or other having to navigate the false matrix, whether we have to go to a job in a corporation or deal with corporations or authorities. I use that word loosely, authorities in inverted commas, but the system, shall we say, which is specifically, as far as I can see, specifically set up and designed to bring us out of our center and to create maximum anguish, pain, suffering. I mean, just think of all of everything from parking fines to bus lane violations to traffic wardens to the bills, to rising energy prices, to rising food prices, you know, and it's causing a lot of stress for a lot of people. And it's being done deliberately because they need this concept of scarcity. They need you to be in this place of fear and desperation and scarcity, because it's a much lower vibration than when you're in nature and when you are, you know, collecting natural water which is flowing in abundance, like from the Buxton Spring, and you're picking apples from your tree and you're growing your own vegetables, and you know, I mean, I planted a couple of tiny mint plants. I know it sounds like a small thing, but I've been buying mint to make green juices, like at £1 a packet from the co-op. I just bought 3 little mint plants, put them in a pot in a sunny spot in the garden. I've just now got a huge amount of mint all year round, just growing more than I could possibly eat. And there, whenever I need it, completely for the cost of a few pounds for the plants and a bit of compost. It's just so beautiful just to have that connection to the abundance of nature. And imagine then doing that in communities. So I'm growing mint and you're growing I don't know, basil, and we can exchange our surpluses and we can collaborate. Hold on, let's get rid of this poo bag. So yeah, people looking at me in a funny way. Hi. Hi. Hiya. So we're now in the park. So this is the river. This is the River Wye, which actually runs from the source at Buxton. And also the river, the waters from the Cressbrook are in this river as well. So all of these sources of water converging. So it's quite so much rain lately. Yeah, I just feel we need to be really, firstly, we need to have real conscious awareness of what is actually going on. And then we need to be quite disciplined, because obviously we need to be aware of what's unfolding. Otherwise we're in a kind of form of spiritual bypassing where we just don't want to look and we don't want to know what's going on. So it's important that we're aware of what's going on and the pain and suffering of others, but equally not to engage too much in it and not to share the louche, what I'd call the louche content, because there's plenty of louche content, which is by what I mean content which is, I believe, deliberately designed to create maximum fear, outrage, anger, shock, horror, pain. I mean, yesterday I was, I didn't share it, but there was a video by Max Egan. Now I do like Max Egan, but he does very definitely speak to the horror rather than the solutions. So he's very problem focused. And this is, the wind is starting to get up, so you may not even be able to hear this, and probably intentionally so. I'm going to turn around and walk backwards, so my back is to the wind. But basically he shared that on the Crow House there was a documentary yesterday about Gaza, Israel and Acapulco, and I only watched the first half of it, which was mainly about Israel, Gaza and the atrocities, but there was some filming of people who were bound and kind of gagged, and well, I think they were Palestinians being pushed into a pit with some tyres and then being shot by what looked like Israeli soldiers. Now, when I see content like that, it was absolutely horrific. Firstly, I have to ask myself, I have to question, firstly, who was doing the filming? So was the filming being done was it being done secretly? Or was it being done by Israelis? Was it being done by the soldiers? Or was it being done by the Palestinians? I mean, from what I would imagine it would be extremely dangerous to be in that situation, to be a Palestinian filming. So I can only assume, and the camera, it wasn't just like a fixed camera, like a CCTV. There were lots of angles and shots. So there was clearly someone holding a camera and moving around the scene. So it must have been filmed by Israeli. Well, we have to assume, what was it? Or, you know, you don't know. This is the point, we don't know. with what's being filmed. Whether this is truth, whether this is a setup, who was doing the filming, and if it was the Israelis doing the filming, then why were all of the soldiers not kind of, they weren't making any attempts to disguise their faces. And the other thing I noticed about this footage is that they were pushing these people into the pit. They were bound and gagged. So they were falling into this pit and then they were being shot. But there was no blood. It was really interesting because you'd think, wouldn't you, that if someone, for example, who's wearing a light blue shirt and sort of beige trousers is pushed into a pit and then shot, you would expect, I imagine, to see some blood, and there was no blood. So I always kind of think, well, I'm not saying it wasn't true, and I'm not saying these things aren't happening, but there's something not stacking up about all of this, and I just wonder whether a lot of this content, this louche content, is being created specifically to create fear, anger, hatred, division, so that it can, simply because the matrix needs feeding. Hi.
Oh, yeah.
People look at me very suspiciously when I'm out with a camera, or maybe they just recognise me and they say, there's that conspiracy theorist who I've heard about in the local newspapers. So these aren't really conspiracy theories, they're kind of more like conspiracy facts, really, as we know. But anyway, I'm in a slightly less populated part of the park now, walking around by the river. So hopefully the audio is working. And sometimes with these videos, I make a video and the audio is so bad I just have to abandon it, and I usually take it as a sign from source not to as a sign not to upload the content. I just have to dump it. So if the audio is too bad, then I may well dump this video. But it's interesting as well, just to touch on that with YouTube, it's interesting that I've had 3 notifications over the past few weeks of old content of mine which is being purged from YouTube, and they say, we're not giving you a strike for this, but we are removing it from the platform. So it's kind of like a cleansing of all material which could possibly implicate the jabs particularly. And so it's almost like they don't want there to be any evidence that anyone was aware of any problems whatsoever regarding the Britney Spears, should we call them? Because of course a lot of people are now speaking out about all of the statistics, and I mean, Liz Garner's speaking out in New Zealand about all of the excess deaths, as is Andrew Bridgen in this country. And we've now got the COVID capers, the COVID investigation, I noticed on the newspapers this morning. And everyone said it was all part of the plan to, that there would be a big reveal at some point. Maybe they're trying to control the big reveal and point the blame at certain people. I don't know, we'll have to see. But I'd say it's all being highly manipulated. And it is a bit equivalent, isn't it, to the kind of Nazi book burning. I mean, it's kind of happened throughout the centuries. The Romans burned the Alexandrian library, didn't they? Wanted to destroy the secrets, the metaphysical wisdom of the ancient people. Hence the Dead Sea Scrolls, why they buried the bits of the Bible that weren't published, that were kind of banished. They buried them in these urns and buried them so that future generations, a bit like a time capsule, future generations would be able to view them. And of course my YouTube channel is backed up to Odyssey, and of course we have Telegram going, but who knows what's going to happen to those channels. They may well be decoy ducks and may just be completely obliterated and taken down and destroyed at some point by those forces who would attempt to dominate and deceive humanity. But my feeling is that there are enough of us now who are aware of what's going on, who are speaking truth, and who are making a stand in every which way, whether we're speaking truth, whether we're standing up against the authorities, questioning, pattern interrupting, and forcing challenging the system, basically. Where's he gone? Sniffing around. And breathe. So it's so important to come out to nature. Get off the devices. I know I'm recording this on a device and you're listening to this on a device, but so important throughout our day to come out into nature, to clear our energy field. Just by being in nature helps you to get back to that 0 point, and just to calm our nervous system, because our nervous system literally is being shot to pieces on a daily basis by all of this horror. It's a bit like the reason why I don't watch, and I really encourage my boys not to watch harrowing content and like fear-filled content, because it creates an adrenaline response. Your body, your mind, your body doesn't know the difference between real and fake. And so the more that we can calm our nervous system, the more that we can be in nature, it helps us to heal. It helps us to calm and heal our nervous system and restore that kind of balance. Okay, so where's Kobe? There he's gone. Right, I'm gonna have to get going. Yeah, so very, very important to build into your day as much as you can to bring yourself back into balance, so that the false matrix, which is constantly trying to suck us in and to lower our vibration and to bring us into chaos and dissonance and to upset us and to frighten us, it's so important that we have these tools and techniques to be able to restore harmonic resonance within our body. That's why singing mantras is so good, and just shaking rattles and drumming. I notice with my drum, it's so soothing just to beat a drum. Just the resonance of beating a drum. Absolutely beautiful. And quite often when Kobe comes to lie with me, he quite often comes and sleeps with me, and he's just curled into me, just like snoring, and it is like a harmonic resonance. It's like clearing my energy field. It's deeply healing, just to have that warmth of Kobe. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm headed back home now, and I'm going to make myself some delicious food. I've had my fancy chop this morning, so I'm going to make myself a really beautiful lunch, and then I shall go back into the false matrix and do a little bit of work on the computer. Bit by bit by bit. So just in other news, just delighted to say that Liberation, all the proofs are approved and they're currently printing it. So I'm awaiting a date for the binding, which I'm hoping will be before I go away, because next week I am flying to Las Vegas on Thursday, and I am going to be doing a little gathering. So if any of you are watching who are in Nevada, who would like to meet up, and I'm hoping I will have a few books to take if you'd like a signed copy. So I will be at the Mirage, and I will confirm the date. I think it will probably be Monday early evening, so Monday at 6 p.m. I might make it Sunday at 6 p.m, but I need to just check what other things I have to do. Hold on, I've lost Kobe. I think oh, here he is. I think he's doing another poo. Can't believe it. That will be the 4th poo today. Anyway, I'm going to end it there because he's headed towards the road now. Oh my God. Okay, lots of love. Bye for now.